All right, so we're up the stairs.
Okay, this is for the benefit of members here so that they know a little bit about the upstairs. Not that we bring anybody up except by exception. But in this room, very interesting area was this ledge that we saw around the edge of the room here. Well, we came to find out from the woman who lived here in the 1940s, there used to be a huge metal tub, and they called it the tank room. It was a tank. There were pipes coming in from here, and they collected the rainwater off the house, and it came in and fed the tank. And then there was a pipe going from the tank down into the woodshed in the back. And that's what they would use for water, you know, for different sources. For cooking on that butcher stove or in the outhouse and so forth. So can you imagine the weight of a metal tub full of water here? That just shows how strong this house is.
It looks like you can see the outline.
Yeah, you can see the outline here on the floor. Pretty amazing.
And there's a door to the attic behind you?
This is a door to the attic. This is one of two entry points into the attic. Again, very steep. Be very careful.
Well, I hate to say this. I would be considered a freak in that day and age. You would be the typical
as
height.
big as you are. Yeah, as tall as you are. Sure.
You'd be even a tall guy.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that.
I'll tell you a little ghost story. We were doing, I don't know if y'all know, but we had several ghost problems when we first came here. Oh, yeah. I experienced one myself, so I can speak to the truth of this. I was standing in what is the museum room, and the fellows were working upstairs, and when they left, they said, "Can you close up?" I said, "Sure, no problem." So I'm here about 10 minutes by myself, and I hear this heavy sound of something sliding across above my head, and then I heard stomp, 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 clear across the room. And I thought, well, somebody must still be up there, you know. I mean, it wasn't like something falling over or whatever. It was obvious somebody walked across the room. So I go to the front stairs, and I go halfway up, and I said, "Hey, who's up here?" And there was no answer. I got the heck out of here as fast as I could because it freaked me out. So anyway, we had a paranormal group come at one time, and they did all the little tools, you know, you hear about, and we did get recordings, various recordings, clear as day. It said, "Here they come," and "Time to go," and this was bad. So, Victoria run over by wagon. I don't know what that story is, but I'm sure it left such an impression on me. And I got to tell you, I was not a believer. Until that happened to me, I began to say, well, maybe. But, you know, we've had different instances. And what happened here on the back steps is Ellie Snyder, John Snyder's wife, I don't know if you've met her, Chip. But we were doing recording through the house and asking questions, you know, and recording and everything like that. We came through the attic, and we were coming down these stairs, and Ellie was on about just a few steps down, and she felt somebody pat her on the head, just like that. And when we looked at the video, you can see the outline of a little boy.
Oh my!
I'm serious. We have the video of that, and we think he reached over. It was a half wall there, and we think he reached over and tapped her head.
That's crazy.
Because he was right there with us. I got chills talking about this. But then the other interesting one was in the basement, and we had a paranormal person here, and we all had flashlights. You know, we stood in a circle. And then she put a flashlight in the middle of the room, away from everybody. I mean, you could tell nobody could get to that flashlight. And she said, "Okay, now this is before the house had electricity, and it was in the evening. It was dark as could be in that basement." So she said, "Okay, everybody, turn your flashlights off. We're standing there in the dark. And then she goes, you know, if there's anybody here, can you turn the flashlight on? And dang if that flashlight didn't come on. It did not. I was like, wow. And, you know, was that a fluke or did somebody do that? So we could watch, okay, now, because the flashlight was on and we had enough light. I said, if you're still here, can you turn the flashlight off? And that thing turned off. I mean, that just blew me away. So I was becoming a believer. Then we had a medium came. One of the TV stations was doing a series on haunted houses, and they asked if they could come and interview us. So, yeah, great, no problem. Well, he brings this medium with him, unbeknownst to us. She comes in and she starts getting edgy, you know, and everything, and she goes, there's a lot of people here. And when you think about how many people must have lived here over the years, you know.
Generations,
And you know, it's a medium. At this point, I'm not totally sold and everything until she starts talking about, okay, that little cupboard under the stairs in the hallway. She says, the woman who lived here, she looks at me and she goes, it's your relative. She did not know I was a stoner descendant. She said she used to keep her tomato relish in this cupboard. She was well known for her tomato relish recipe. And she used to keep it here, and it had a lock on it at one time. She was that proud of it. And she said, and there's also a little girl here. So the tomato relish story, I thought, well, it's in the cookbook. She said it's in the cookbook. I didn't realize that it was, but it was. But I thought, well, maybe she saw that, you know.
Yeah.
But then she turns to me and she says, there's a young girl here. She's probably about 9 or 10. And she's telling me, and she looks straight at me, and she says, you have a wood box that she used to keep her toys in, and she wants it back at the Stoner house. I had just inherited the wood box 3 months earlier. I thought, well, there's no way she would know that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I was just flabbergasted. But I didn't bring the wood box back because, first off, it doesn't fit. It's real large and big, and I want to keep that for now anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of became a believer. But she says
So if anything happens to her, we know why.
Yeah, right. So anyway, she told us other things about the house, and the one that really kind of bothers me is down in the basement. You'll notice that part of the basement is walled off, and it's a solid wall on both sides, and you don't know why. You know, there's no entrance to this. So we chipped out the top a little bit, and we looked in there, and we saw that the foundation for the hearth was in there, but it was full of dirt. I mean, just full. So when she came, she goes down in the basement. She doesn't know anything about it. She turns to the wall and she says, don't ever dig in there. And we said, well, why? I said, we don't know what's in there. She goes, people with disease died and they buried them there in the winter. And you should never dig it out. So there could be people buried in the basement. But we don't know that for sure.
Well, that would confirm that some people haven't left.
Yeah. And then she said there was a Frenchman standing in the vaulted basement area who said that he helped build that vaulted basement. And all he wanted was to go back home to France. So I don't know if that was true or not, but it's fun to do.
Well, I have something to show you then later, but I double confirmed our connection.
Oh, have you?
And we have Frenchies as part of our family.
Oh, yes? No kidding. Yeah, we're related, we found out.
Yes.